Rhea, we are live.
Hello, bonjour, bonjour. I don't know. Every time I say bonjour, I start sounding like Julia Child. But but hello, Laura. So this is a very special tune-in Tuesday, and forgive us, we're in very different surroundings than usual. Um, so Laura, where are you?
I'm in Arizona, in
Woohoo.
Scottsdale. Yes, it's beautiful here, but I don't know that it's as beautiful as where you are.
Yeah,
So,
well,
so where are you, Rhea?
I'm in Paris. I'm in Paris, honey.
And I'm at a conference, so I'm not
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, no. I'm not at a conference. I must admit I am on vacation. So I'm here with the Joe Man. So we are having just a wonderful, blessed time. So I'm very happy. And just loving technology that we can even do this today
I
uh,
know it's great.
with neither of us in New York. So we have this is another international broadcast for us. So it's great.
Yes, so we've got a few people here. Oh, Karen is here. Hey, Karen and Safa.
Hi, hello, Karen. Hello, Safa.
Yes, Karen, we are in Arizona and Paris, and so this is just an example of what can be done today, right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Safa says she doesn't hear us. Karen, can you hear us? Oh, Rhea, I hear that you can hear us.
I can hear.
Okay, Safa, just make sure your volume is up.
Can you hear us, Joe? Yeah, Joe said
Yeah.
he can hear us too.
Okay. And Joe is very excited because Joe is a beer connoisseur.
Yes,
And
he
and
is.
they did not know this, but it's beer week in Paris.
So yeah,
Oh,
yes.
thank you, Karen. Karen's can hear us. Okay. So Safa, just check your volume.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of, I mean, where Laura is, she's because she's at a conference, and this is where she can get the best signal. And there's a little bit of chatter in the background, but I
Is it
think
too much? Should I try to move?
it is loud. It's loud.
It is?
And yeah.
All right.
But we'll continue because see now they got quiet.
Okay. I think
Okay.
people just passing. All right. So our topic tonight is going to be on self-control.
Yes. And it came up for those of you who are have or did participate in as a man thinketh 2019. We had at the very end an exercise from chapter 7 on serenity, and it focused on us being able to actually track word for word for a 5-day period, and really being able to dive deeper into this chapter. And it's so interesting because every time you do this, every day there's something else that jumps out. The text is not changing, but your perspective changes, you change on a daily basis, and there's just something that comes to your awareness and related to yourself. So I speak that from experience. So today, early this morning, I was doing the work, which initially I thought of as an assignment, as an assignment, and I've got to get through this quickly because it's just, yeah. And no, so now I take it and savor it, and let the words speak to me. So there is a particular passage that just stood out, and I'll just read it fairly quickly. It says, how many people, and for those who completed the study, it's line 766. How many people we know who sour their lives, who ruin all that is sweet and beautiful by explosive tempers, who destroy their poised character and make bad blood, it is a question whether the majority of people do not ruin their lives and mar their happiness by lack of self control. How few people we meet in life who are well balanced, who have that exquisite poise which is characteristic of the finished character. And the sentence that I focused on this morning was, it is a question whether the great majority of people do not ruin their lives and mar their happiness by lack of self-control. So the question that this posed to me was, where have I in the past lacked self-control and overcome it, which is great. And then also, where am I still challenged with self-control issues? Now, certainly the overall context relates to controlling your temper, controlling your words, and also controlling, and most of all, controlling your thoughts. Where have I had shortcomings? And oh, you ask yourself a question. At least I ask myself a question like that, and I will get, just, it's like a ticker tape, just flowing. Hey, you did this and that and that and that and that. And where I find I am still challenged is related to thoughts, certainly, issues of my mouth, things that I say that maybe I shouldn't say, or things that I need to say that I don't. So that's challenging. And then also, I mean, we've talked in the past about me and the fact that I'm on a health journey, improving my health, improving my weight. That's an issue of self-control as well. So there are many, many, many more, that can come to mind. But I just thought this was something that, for each of us, as we journal, as we spend time, you know, what is our response to this? So I
Yeah.
think for all who are listening, uh, I think this is a great topic for us. Is anyone want to weigh in? If you would like to share, where are you challenged when it comes to self control? What are the self control issues that are challenging you?
And one of the things that helps me so much with self control is to observe my thoughts, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what do I desire consciously, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, I was a religious gym person. Nothing kept me from the gym. It was a high priority, and I never missed. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started missing,
Mm-hmm.
and then it became hard to get back to where I was. So that's one of the things I'm challenged with right now is I have to start making that a higher level priority because I loved how I felt when I was working out more regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so my self control gets in the way because it takes a lot of self control to say when something slips down to put it back up where you want it to be
Mm-hmm.
because other things have filled in those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to say that it's really important for me to feel that way again, then I have to have more self control. I have to say no to other things so I could say yes to that until it becomes that, part of my life again, like it was.
Yes. Yes. Well, and we also read in that same text that self-control is strength. And you know what I think of, and you mentioned going to the gym, and
Yes.
one of the things that I think of is our core, our physical core, and how when we strengthen that, it affects so many things. It affects not just our posture, but also it helps us, keep our backs healthy. It helps us with walking. I mean, it is key to great health. So self-control, I think of as that band of strength, that if you have that, it spills over in so many ways. And I don't mean rigid. I'm not talking about being rigid or being a perfectionist. As we're not talking about a perfectionist culture, but I think we all recognize in ourselves, and this is where self-awareness comes in too. We all recognize areas where we could be stronger, and to get there, just like you said, related to the gym, it takes more self-control.
Right. But self control is a conscious action,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's conscious. So unless we're living consciously, if we're living from, our habits, our subconscious ways,
Mm-hmm.
then we're not going to have self control,
Mm-hmm.
right? So self control is a conscious action, and we have to stay very focused in our mission in order to achieve to have that kind of self control. And yes, self control is strength.
Yes.
It is, and calmness is power, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Karen is saying, sometimes I'm challenged by not saying things that need to be said, especially if I know the listener will disagree with my comment or
Mm-hmm.
my feeling or statement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting because we very often adapt to our environment, or at least what we believe our environment expects from us,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we might want to be honest and truthful, but if we know our environment is not going to receive it well, we might hide that part of us,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. But to be true to ourselves, to be true to ourselves, if you feel something needs to be said, it's probably best to say it as long
Yes.
as it's said in good taste. And I know Karen would say it in good taste and not to hurt, not to hurt somebody or
Yes.
be
Yes.
judgmental. But if something needs to be said or should be said, and we believe in it, then to be true to ourselves, we express it,
Yes.
right? Because if we
Yes.
don't express it, it just sits within us.
Well, and we want to have that courage, that courage to be ourselves, the courage to get out and do what we need to do to become more authentic, and the courage to stand in who we are, stand up for who we are. So now there's a bird chirping where you
You
are.
hear a bird? Do you really?
Yeah.
There are a ton of birds around here, and they're exotic and they make very unusual sounds and they're beautiful. But do you hear one right now? Because oh, there is a bird. Yeah, there
Yeah.
are birds everywhere. Is it distracting?
I think I think we're fine. Oh, he stopped.
Okay.
See, he stopped.
Yeah, they come on and off. But getting back to Karen's comment, because Karen is a wellness advocate, right? So Karen wants to, um, she wants to put that out there in the world. She wants people to live holistically healthy lives. She wants them to look at what they're putting into their body. She wants them to feel less anxiety, to sleep better. She's
Mm-hmm.
all about wellness. So somebody that's true to their mission has to be able to speak on what they feel passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
right? In order
Mm-hmm.
to be true to their mission.
Mm-hmm.
So Karen, I'm not sure if what you mean by that. If you think that way in personal situations or in business situations, but if we feel passionate about something, like I know what I'm passionate about, and I think that I say it. I would like to believe I say it in a welcoming way, but I can't stay quiet on what I'm passionate about.
Well, and different people handle that in different ways, but I think when I think about the courage, it is not just related to passion, but it is driving past your fears, driving past your fears. And yes, driving past your fears to get to your passion, because there are
Yes.
many of us who have a passion for something, but we're afraid to really come out and let others see that. and
Yes.
and and that is, we have one life. And if you are able to push past all of these things, and open up and move into what you are called to do and what you're passionate about, your life will change, and you'll be able to help others change their lives. So what we are encouraging everyone to do is to continue to tighten up that self-control muscle. And so,
Yep.
because this is going to be key you're tightening up the self-control muscle, you're practicing the right thought, you're mastering your thoughts, and the calmness, like Laura said, is power. That is power. When you think of, do you have anyone in mind, Laura? This applies to anyone. When you think of someone whose power is now, or they may be, no longer, they may be dearly departed, but someone who had a calm but strong, or has a calm and strong presence.
Oh yes,
To
and you know him very well, John Maxwell.
Oh, absolutely.
John
And
Maxwell has that very calm. I'm grounded. I know who I am. I know what my passions are,
mm-hmm.
and nobody shakes me up.
Yes.
He has that. He really does. Oh, Safa's got us back on volume.
Oh,
Um,
good.
Elaine says me either. So Elaine is also, she's a very passionate person, right? She has a mission. She feels strongly. And, when we want to make a difference, how else are we going to make the difference? Like our world, in my opinion, it's just my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
it's missing passion.
Yes. Yes.
What are people really passionate about today in our culture?
Well, I don't know. I think there are people who are rabid about some things. I don't know how passionate they are. But just to go back just quickly, because I'll get back to that. Someone else I think of when I think of calm, quiet
Hmm.
strength, Maya Angelou. In
Yes.
all of the time, and I did not know her personally, of course, but anytime I saw her, she spoke at this level constantly. But wow, she was powerful. And you don't have to be the loudest voice in the room, but you should be the strongest. And that's what my goal is to be the strongest, not necessarily the loudest, not even the smartest, but absolutely I want to have the power that comes from calmness.
And don't you feel, Rhea, that passion can speak like that?
Yes, I do. And the thing is, but I want people to understand too, because we talk about passion, and people are unclear of, what their passion is, or we think that because we're just excited about something, that is your passion. And sometimes excitement can be fleeting.
Yes.
And so you might be excited about purple tennis shoes one day, and then the next day you're just not, you're over it. So you have to. Oh, there's that great book. You know what it is? Put your dream to the test.
We really
Put
should do something on that book.
put your dream to the test, because it asks you several questions about what if there's something that you believe is your passion, then it asks you questions about that. One of them is it your passion, or is it someone else's? So, or is it your dream, or is it someone else's? But I believe it is important. It's very important in life to have passion for
Yes.
something. And because I've feel that without it, you're just sort of meandering through life. It gives you a strong direction to move in. And I believe that's what gets us on the path to living more intentionally and
Hmm.
to making a difference in the lives of others. So back to your question, yes, I agree.
Okay, so Allie says,
Oh,
God,
hi, Allie.
God sparks the momentum in our lives, and we react in fear. Our passions and progress can often feel so unfamiliar. Pushing past the fear is a challenge.
Yes, it is.
And it
Yes, it
is a
is.
challenge. It is a challenge, but again, and we've done a whole broadcast on fear. And what do we say about fear? Fear is not real. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
could feel like it is, but what are we really fearful about? When we break it down,
Mm-hmm.
right? When we break down fear and we expose it to the light, what is our real fear,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And so if we're living like in this moment, I mean, there might be a fear. If I was in Yellowstone, I could have a fear that I might come face to face with a grizzly bear or something. But,
Right.
you know, everything that's wonderful and ridiculously amazing is on the other side of fear.
Yes, it is. And it's outside of our comfort zone. So we're talking about choosing courage over comfort. It's outside of our comfort zone. And most of I mean, when we talk about fear, most of us are not wrestling with grizzly bears. That's not what we're talking about. I mean, it may
Right.
be figuratively, they may be grizzly bears, but we're talking about sometimes exposure of ourselves. There's a possibility of being hurt. There's a possibility of people not liking what it is I'm going to do or say. I mean, they're different issues.
Yeah, and there are
And
insecurities sometimes. But
yes,
again,
exactly.
again, we 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 want what's on the other side of that.
That's
So
right.
so we choose courage over comfort, and we plow through it, to
That's
get to
right.
the other side, because I wish there was a shortcut. Like, I wish there was an app or something that we could use that will get us through fear and we could just be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
But there
Mm-hmm.
is no shortcut. What I can say is that once you get through something fearful, you learn how to do it again.
Yes.
Your
This
brain
is
doesn't forget it.
it's like a muscle. The more often you do it, it becomes easier and easier. And guess what happens? Then there's something else that crops up that you have to, because all of a sudden that what was once fear is now part of your comfort zone. So then you are now challenged to move on to the next thing that's outside of your comfort zone. That is my experience.
And you know what comes on the other side. Like, if we don't go through fear, we're just like kind of like trying to see, like this, like, but we can't. We can't
No,
see the other side of fear if
no,
we stay on one side. You know,
that's right.
we won't see it. We will be living in the fear. And that is not a ridiculously amazing way to live.
No, no, it's not. It is not.
Right.
Let's
So
see. So my feed is just a little behind, so I'm not seeing the questions as they pop up or comments. Uh,
I think I got the questions and the comments. I mean, Safa is good now. She's on her laptop,
okay.
so she can hear. So I think so far, I think we're caught up so far. But please weigh in on self control and on how important self control is to getting to where we want to be, right? And keeping that calmness about us.
Yes.
And it comes from, you know knowing that we are thought evolved people.
Hmm.
Our thoughts evolve. So
That is the key. That's the foundation. That thought is of that. Uh, the premise of us recognizing that we are thought evolved individuals.
Yes.
And
And so just knowing that, right? That our thoughts evolve,
yes.
that tells us be very careful what we think about.
Well, and and this chapter gave me a word that I had not seen before. I mean, this is written more than 100 years ago, but that the word equable.
Mm,
I've heard equitable, but no, this was equable. And an equable individual is a person not easily disturbed or angered, someone who's calm and even tempered. Like, yeah, that's it. That's what I want. That's what I
right.
want.
And people want to be around people like that.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Well, 'cause who do you call when you're in a crisis? You're not going to call someone who panics,
right,
or you know, or
right,
or who's yelling, and no, you don't, or who cannot control their own emotions. That's not who I'm planning to call.
right. And there's a
But
line in here, Rhea. Did
uh-huh.
you see the one that says, humanity surges with uncontrolled passion,
Yes.
right? Uncontrolled passion, ungoverned grief
Mm-hmm.
is blown about by anxiety and doubt,
Mm-hmm.
right? Only the wise man, only he whose thoughts are controlled and purified makes the winds and the storms of the soul obey him. That was like, I read that about 10 times because I have a lot of passion, and sometimes passion can really, if it's uncontrolled, it can be rude, it could be judgmental to other people that don't have it.
Yeah.
It could be like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
self-control is important when you're a passionate person, when you're in grief, when you're in high emotion states.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So self-control is very important.
Donna
It's very
says
important.
there is power in calmness.
There is.
Yes.
I
Yes.
believe that strongly. I believe that strongly.
And we think clearer in calmness. We breathe regularly in
Mm-hmm.
calmness.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things are really important. Now, sometimes things happen. I'm sure you can probably name a few, Rhea, in business where something goes terribly wrong. Like you
Yes.
had that outage in your business that was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sometimes even as a mom, when something happens with one of our kids, we can get frustrated or upset, and it takes a lot of self control to like pull in the reins
Yeah.
and to think clearer. And one thought, like if we know that we're thought evolving people, then we know that one thought will evolve, like it'll just keep expressing itself. So if I doubt myself and I have that thought that, who do you think you are, Laura? They're not going to listen to you. Or, you know, I start doubting my abilities. That one thought can evolve to like 50 thoughts.
Yes. Yes. Instantly. Instantly. But self-control, control of our thoughts, right thoughts, the
Yes.
mastery of the right thoughts are so very important. And and no one, and we are not perfect. I mean, Laura and I both work this constantly.
All the time.
We just finished a study about it, but I know that I'm still studying. I am
Yes.
still studying,
Me
and
too.
look
I
forward
have
to
it
it.
with me.
Yep, I brought mine. Mine is in Paris. So
See, we don't ever stop. And that's the one thing, Rhea, that like you're like my soulmate when it comes to things like that, because other people wouldn't get that. But
yeah,
yet you have your book with you, I have mine with me. We never talked
yes.
about ever doing that.
No, no, we didn't. It's interesting. We didn't talk about incorporating the lesson from this chapter into Tune In Tuesday, not before today. So it wasn't that we planned to do this. It was we recognize that we both have assignments, and And in order for us to be able to support everyone here, there's much more. We've got to learn it. We've got to understand it. We've got to know. We got to know what we're talking about.
We have to live it,
We have to live it.
right?
Absolutely.
And so when you live it, like, Karen was talking before, like, she's a wellness advocate. If you live your life in wellness, then guess
Hmm.
what? You'll feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more worthy to speak on wellness,
Yes.
right? So you and I, Rhea, we educate people. We want them to live ridiculously amazing lives. We're coaches. If we don't do what we do every day, then we are not going to be worthy to help anybody.
Hmm. That's right. That
So
is absolutely.
live your passion, like live it in a calm, self-controlled, and thought-aware way.
Yes. Yes. And journal.
And journal.
There's always a
Yes.
journaling commercial in there. but, but
Listen, it's a big piece. Journaling is a piece.
journaling is a big piece.
Yeah.
It's very important. And it's all, I mean, we work at this because we believe that living a ridiculously amazing life is not only possible, it's worth the work that it takes to get there. And that's why we want to share what we learn with you. And hoping that you take this to heart, because
Yeah.
look, we each could have just gone our own ways today and said, oh, let's just cancel for today. No, this is important. This is important. And we are here to tune. We're tuning in on Tuesdays so that you can tune into your own self-awareness every day. Every day.
Yes. Yes. And we're not going to let you down because we don't want you to let yourself down.
That's
And
right.
so if we don't model that, then
Hmm.
who are we to even talk about ridiculously amazing lives?
That's
So
right.
live the life that you're passionate about, because if you live it, you're just going to be fine, you know, allowing other people to see it and to educate them on it, and all of that just comes natural when you live it,
That's right. I love
right?
it. I love it.
So
Oh,
weigh in if you're catching the replay. Talk a little bit about self-control. What do you think about it? Is it hard for you?
yes.
Do you sometimes go through that imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you could do this, or you don't feel like you're strong enough or worthy enough or whatever it is? Because we can help you with that. So just make a comment.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Yes. Yes. So, Rhea, have a safe but wonderful, ridiculously amazing trip. Post pictures. Joe posted an
Oh, yes.
absolutely gorgeous picture of you with the
Huh.
Eiffel Tower in the back at night.
Yes, yes.
It's just gorgeous. It's
This
beautiful. You're
evening
beautiful.
oh, thank you. You're so sweet. We
You
we
are.
just returned from a little city tour, night city tour, and the what is it? Pièce de résistance. Okay, I don't speak French, but the it was the
That was good.
Eiffel Tower uh, session that we had, and there's at the top of the hour there's a little light show, so we were able to participate in that. So thank you. But yes, it is, and enjoy Arizona, because
Yes.
the weather in New York right now, I understand, is awful.
Oh, it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful here. And you and Joe are celebrating what? Are you celebrating?
We're celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary. So, yeah. So, okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be tuning in again next week.
Yes, we
That
will.
is
And
that is the
where are you going to be next week, Rhea?
next Tuesday. I'll be in Germany, somewhere in Germany. So we'll see how that goes.
We have one question before we go, if you have a second. How can one who has never really journaled get started without feeling overwhelmed?
Mm.
Very, very, I would say very simply. Like journaling doesn't have to be pages long.
Yes, yes. And the thing I'm thinking about is I put together a list of oh
Topics, right?
journal topics,
Mhm.
and but I don't have them with me. But journaling, it starts with just one word, and it can be. I mean, there are some who say, just open your book and just write about anything. Just write about anything.
Right.
And
Today, what stood out for me, or in the
yes,
morning, sometimes in the morning I'll journal about the person I want to be that day.
yes.
You know, who do I want to be today?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I'm going to do intentionally today.
Mm-hmm.
But it could start, Karen, very, very simply.
Yes.
Very, very small. It doesn't have to be long. But as you
No.
start to do it, you'll be amazed at how your story takes takes place in a book, and like how your thoughts start to evolve and you get to see them. It's
Yes.
it's really been very instrumental. Rhea and I both journal, and personal growth has really changed both of our lives in huge ways, and not just us, but everyone around us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, Rhea?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
all right, so you go celebrate with your hubby, and
Yes.
true love is something to celebrate. So go live it up, baby. I love
It's
you.
certain. Love you too. You have a safe travels,
Yes, you too.
and and I am looking to see where I have those prompts. But just on the question of journaling, I agree with everything you said, and who do I want to be today? Uh,
Hmm.
and you can ask yourself questions like, what makes me cry? What am I passionate about? Uh, what do I not want to do? It is just, it's a wonderful conversation with yourself, and I both Laura and I both believe it's done with pen and paper.
Yes.
So,
Rhea, do you have a minute, or are you on your way somewhere? There are two comments that I missed.
oh, go ahead.
Okay, so Safa says, I think consistency has a lot to do with discipline. When
Mm-hmm.
we are consistent with something specific, we establish a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency goes very well with
Yes.
discipline, because I mean, it takes people different amounts of times to create a habit, but it starts with being consistent. I
And
mean,
with
you and I doing this tune in every single week, we both have crazy lives, right?
yes, yes, yes,
But we are consistent. And so now it's to the point where we stop everything to do this.
yes,
Everything.
yes. And actually, someone was asking John Maxwell, what he thought were important traits about, for someone who is a writer like he, and he said he never underestimate the power of compounded consistency.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
funny that came up because this past Sunday in my children's sermon, it was how to form a habit, and we were talking about consistency and the importance of consistency in doing something on a regular, doing the same thing regularly, and how
And
that
it's
makes a difference
over time.
over
Consistency is,
time.
you can't be consistent for a few days and then you drop off, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Consistency is every day.
Hmm.
It's consistent to a mission.
And we do
And
it we do it with so many other things. And the example I gave the kids was, I hope everyone brushes their teeth every morning. I mean, we've got that. You make your bed. There are many things that we do consistently, that we do habitually now because we were consistent. And
yes.
there's some reports that that doing something 28 days in a row will help you develop a habit. So start with that. Start with journaling. Commit
Right.
to journaling for 1 month and see where
Yes.
that takes you.
And it makes a difference. And sometimes those habits, like I blow dry my hair, I don't even know what side I part my hair on because I just do it without even thinking about it. So imagine when you've got your subconscious mind on your side and now it's a habit, right? You don't even have to try
Yes,
hard. So
yes,
Allie says, often we fear our greatness because it is outside of our comfort zone. when we get a glimpse of our true greatness, it can be unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we show great self-control in situations we didn't believe we could ever be calm in. And at least for me, that shock is scary. But, Allie, it's kind of ridiculously amazing that you can show great self-control when you didn't think you could.
Yes.
That's a sign of growth.
Yes.
Don't miss that, because that's a sign of growth. When you can have self-control in difficult situations that you never thought you could, then pat yourself on the back.
Yeah. And don't fear the shock, you know, and take that shock and reframe it as, you know, as, oh my goodness.
I know, sorry.
Reframe that shock as a pat on the back, or you know, just another area of which you're aware of your greatness. So so yes. Oh wow. Okay. But
Okay, I'm
thank you.
sorry for the noise out here, but it's this place is so busy. There are a few conferences here, and it's
Ah,
a lot going on. But
yes,
all
yes,
right,
yes.
safe travels, Rhea.
Thank you, Laura. Safe travels to
See you
you too.
next week.
Yes, and thank
Okay.
everyone. Bonsoir.
Yes, and again, until next week, live a ridiculously
Ridiculous,
amazing
amazing
life
life.
with
That's right.
ridiculously amazing thoughts.
Yes, that's right. Master those thoughts. Calmness is strength. So, all
Yes,
right.
yes. All
Bye.
right.
Love you
Have a
guys.
great week.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.